Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss how to introduce yourself. Imagine you have an interview at school or you meet someone for the first time and you want to introduce yourself. So you should know how to do that. The question here is what information you should or you may tell about yourself. For sure, you need to tell about your name, age, address, hobbies, and then you can give more information about your family. For example, your father's and mother's job, your brothers, sisters, and even your country. And then the end, you can talk about your school and how do you spend your free time. Here in our short PowerPoint, we have like a guide how to introduce yourself. So first, as you see, hi, my name is. So when I'd like to introduce myself to talk to someone for the first time, so I can say, hi, my name is. And then you can mention to talk about your country, to say directly, I'm from England, I'm from Cairo, or to say, I came or I come from Egypt, I come from Cairo, Alexandria, and so on. And you can mention the city, where do you live? I live in Hurghada, I live in Cairo, and so on. Then talk about your age, and we know how to ask about your age, someone's age. How old are you? And if you like to talk to ask about his his son's age, for example, how we can do that? How old is your son? How old is your sister? How old is your daughter? How old is he? How old is she? How old are they? Then we can give more information about our family. For example, as I mentioned, we can talk about our our fathers and mothers' jobs. To say, for example, my father is a doctor, he works in the local hospital, and so on. Then you can talk about yourself. Which school do you go to? I'm a student at Rojak School, for example. I can talk about my favorite subject, food, hobby, and so on. So then you can talk about how do you always spend your free time. For example, you'd like to show your new classmate about how do you always spend your free time. I sometimes go shopping, I sometimes play tennis at my school with my friends on Fridays and so on, to give more information about how do you spend your time. Then you can talk about what do you like and what do you don't like. And you, if you like, you can mention why you like. For example, I can talk I talked about my hobby, and I'd like to tell why I like tennis, for example. So I can mention why tennis helps me to keep fit and so on. So you can give more information why you like a certain subject, or for example a hobby and so on. So we can talk about a lot of things, like what your favorite singer. For example, I like Amr Diab, I like Muhammad Munir and so on. Here are some examples. Here some examples for the questions you may receive during a certain or an interview. For example, what's your name? So you know the answer. You know the answer. I am Ahmed. My name is Ahmed, and so on. Then, how to ask about the age. How old are you? How old is Ahmed? How old is Ali? How old is your son? So, how old are you when you are talking to someone you are talking to in front of you? How old are you? When you, if you want to ask, for example, your friend said that he has a sister. Her name is Sue. So you would like to ask about Sue's age. So what should you? How can you ask? How old is Sue? Not R, because Sue takes pronoun she. So I cannot say how old are Sue. No, I can say how old are you? How old are they? Or how old is he? Or how old is she? How old is Sue? How old is David? And so on. Then you may receive a question about your favorite hobby. For example, what's your favorite hobby? Tennis, football, volleyball, handball, and so on. Then, for example, I can ask you to know about your routine, daily routine. I can ask about your school, your teachers, um, many questions you may receive during an interview. For examples, it is you are familiar if someone wants to ask about your father's job. So you are familiar. What's your father's job? No, we have another question. Is more, um, we can say, is better than what's your father's job. To say, for example, what does your father do for a living? Again, what does your father do for a living? So to ask about your nationality, you know how to ask about someone about his nationality. So I can ask directly, what's your nationality? What nationality are you? So I should know how can I ask about someone's nationality, as I know how can I ask about someone's name, someone's age, someone's address, and so on. Mm, I can also ask someone about his hope in the future. What would he like to do when he grows up? Oh, I hope I'd like to be a teacher, I'd like to be an engineer, I'd like to be a doctor, I'd like to be a vet. So we can express about our future job we hope to take up. I'd like here also to differentiate between how many and how often. As interview, when the interviewer asks you how many, that means he is waiting for your answer, including a number. For example, how many brothers do you have? So he expects numbers, even to say a brother or two brothers, and so on. While how often is used to ask about how many times, how many times, or How many times do you do a certain action? How often do you study English? Every day, once a week, it depends. The last the last slide, it is like a homework. I want you to fill in the gaps to be able to introduce yourself. I hope you enjoy our lesson today. Thank you, my dears. Wish you all the best.